From the first steps of blacks forced onto this land in 1619 to the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, to the founding of the African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas in Philadelphia, to the ordination of the first black priests of the Episcopal Church, blacks in America have continued to push their way towards freedom in mind, body, and spirit. While the ideology of the Jim Crow South would reign supreme across the country, black people worked tirelessly to end racism and segregation in America. Black leaders in the Missouri area, such as the Reverend Joseph Nicholson, would find themselves seeking justice not only in their cities and towns, but in the church as well. On the topic of black religion, Reverend Nicholson states, "Whatever religion a person claims, or even claims to have no religion at all, he is seeking for very important things in life. 1, to understand and accept himself. 2, to feel safe, secure, and at home in the environment. 3, to get along in his society. And 4, to receive forgiveness for his tragic choices and the healing for his emotional wounds." The Reverend Dr. Joseph W. Nicholson, born in Springfield, Missouri in 1901, and the only child of Isaac and Mary Elizabeth Nicholson, completed his early education in Springfield, Missouri, and in Washington, D.C., going on to receive his undergraduate degrees at Howard University and Garrett Biblical Institute in Evanston, Illinois. He completed his Ph.D. in religious education at Northwestern University in Evanston. He was an active educator at Talladega College, Atlanta University, and Hampton Institute, as well as at Washington State and several St. Louis universities. His special field was applied theology, and he offered this with extensive research, which led him to be a consultant for conferences on national and local levels. In 1933, he co-authored with Benjamin Mays the first study of African American church, entitled The Negro's Church. He would go on to publish independently over the next 40 years. Originally ordained as a Methodist minister, he would later become ordained to the diaconate in Virginia in 1949. In 1949, he also became the 4th rector at All Saints Episcopal Church in St. Louis, and maintained the position until his retirement in 1972. Not only was he a staple within his church community, Reverend Nicholson was also active in the St. Louis community. He served on many boards and commissions, including the NAACP, YMCA, the Urban League, the Metropolitan Church Federation, St. Louis Health and Welfare Council, Parks and Recreation Board, and the St. Louis Board of Education. He served as a member of the Board of Examining Chaplains and the Standing Committee for the Episcopal Diocese of Missouri. He also participated in a number of programs and committees on the National Council of the Episcopal Church. He encouraged political and community involvement among the members of the All Saints congregation. An example is found in the St. Louis Argus newspaper, published in 1955, where he encourages members of the congregation and community to donate towards those affected and disenfranchised by the, quote, Cotton Curtain. Reverend Nicholson states, "Surely the Cotton Curtain is as good a description of those areas where racial segregation in the public schools is maintained against the Supreme Court's decision." Reverend Nicholson goes on to share, "It becomes the responsibility of everyone to respond and relieve the plight of the fellow man who are injured by the brutality and racial segregation and discrimination." After retiring as rector of All Saints Episcopal Church, Reverend Nicholson went on to teach a course entitled Religion and Black People at Forest Park Community College, which was a course that set out to understand how ethical and moral ideas become functional in real-life situations. It is because of Reverend Nicholson's work and those like him that the stage would be set to encourage the Black community to achieve and reach for greatness.
I was born in Belize. Belize is a very diverse country, and we often refer to it as a melting pot. Growing up in Belize, I was accustomed to interacting and experiencing people who looked like me at all levels of government, law enforcement, education, and much more. I moved to the U.S. when I was in the 6th grade. In Belize, I attended a Catholic school and was in honors classes from the 2nd grade. My first day at school, my mother and I had an interview with the principal. He asked if I spoke English. Belize is an English-speaking country. And I said yes. He then placed me in classes where kids struggled to learn. I was familiar with the lessons from 2 years prior. It would be years later that I realized this was my first experience being discriminated against. Recently, a colleague at work, a white male, said to me, "America does not have a race problem. America has a class problem." I was so taken back by the comment, I was at a loss of words. I share these so that you can have some context of my experience. In my corporate life, I help departments find better ways of doing what they do. It requires me to look beyond the symptom of a problem to uncover the root causes of those problems. One can say America has both a race and class problem. However, I believe these are just symptoms of a deeper problem. I would say America has a trust problem. We see evidence of low trust resulting in racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and many others. When you look at diminishing trust over the past 60 years, you can't help but notice the diminishing attendance in the churches also. Many environments we learn to trust. However, I would say the two primary environments are at home and in the church. If there's any hope of reversing this trend, I believe all churches will need to step forward to claim this mission. I want to be a part of the solution. I want to take a leadership role in the church to bring awareness for this Armageddon in front of us. Without trust, we can't solve racism or any of the other isms I mentioned. I'm not satisfied with being in the stadium sitting. I want to be in the arena. I want to join with others to make a difference. I believe God has not only made this my calling, but all of our calling. For me, it is why I decided to pursue ordination in the Diocese of Missouri.